Have you ever been told that you're overreacting? Doesn't feel very good, does it? Well, what if maybe there was some truth to that? Not that your emotions aren't valid and how you're feeling. That doesn't negate any of those things. And what if there was just that teeny bit of truth where maybe there was a better way to communicate those deeply immense, strong feelings, and in that moment maybe we're triggered or hit a very sensitive point where you ended up reacting rather than responding, because it is your sacred responsibility, your ability to respond in a way which you prefer rather than react, because you deserve to be able to speak from a place of love, passion, and excitement to those you love without being triggered, and to speak with clarity over fog. So in this video, I'm going to help you navigate some of this so that way you'll be more well equipped next time you find yourself in a intense emotional state or conversation, maybe even disagreement with someone. And this way you can speak with clarity. And I'm Ventzi. I'm your divine feminine empowerment and spiritual awakening coach. And I'm here to help you move from fear of living to your fullest expression to the freedom of doing so. From trauma to transcendence, from victim to victor, and cultivate deep and meaningful relationships, romantic and non-romantic, with others. And most importantly, for you to fall completely in love with your life. And just when you think you can't take another step, I'm here to help you fall in love with yourself. So let's get to it. Why do we tend to overreact? Right? It's not that you're overreacting. Like, it's not like that's the issue. It's that you have these feelings, right, of either they've been suppressed, or it's a trigger, and usually it comes from a survival mechanism that something is shifting in your reality that's being presented to you that you're not liking, or that you don't really want to switch over to, or something's not mending to your preferences, right? So we try to keep on to the survival of the old, of what's comfortable for us. And yeah, if it's something that's all yours and it's you deserve to have your boundaries placed. However, communicating these boundaries and not overreacting to your emotions, because again, your emotions are very extremely valid. And let me know, have you ever actually been in a situation like this? And maybe is there something I can specifically touch up on? Like, let me know in the comments below. However, here's the thing. You can convey the message of your emotions in a much more clear way to the other person. However, most of the time when we're in that emotional state, that triggered response of, surviving, and we need to control the outcome, it doesn't come out right because something's happening that we're not comfortable with right away at the moment. And the best thing to do is, it doesn't matter what type of conversation you're in, where you are, even in a workplace environment or a meeting, like if really your emotional state is riled up and it's not appropriate for you to like respond in a way you don't prefer, because you're going to react. And that's why it's called overreacting, because you're reacting to the emotions versus responding in a way which you prefer. So it is okay to take yourself aside and even let people know, like, hey, I am feeling emotionally triggered. Something is coming up within me that I would like to have more clarity on before I choose my next response. You can literally say that to people. So I'm going to need, X amount of time, or I'm going to pull myself away, do some breath work or meditate for a moment and clear my mind and be able to come back at this, okay? So the number one thing is understanding that your emotional state is the most important thing, because guess what? Law of attraction kicks in. You're going to attract people, places, and things exactly on what you're tuned into, on your frequency, on what channel and mood and how you're thinking, feeling, and acting as, is what's going to be attracted to you. So you attract more people, places, and things that resonate with that vibration of you, and you're going to get a reflection of it. So pull yourself away and take care of you in order to show up in a way which you prefer, because guess what? We've all been there. I've been there so many freaking times in my life where, and especially with past relationships where I haven't been able to communicate my emotions properly. And I've been through tons of divine storms, and it's all led me to this moment to be able to help and support you in this very moment. And I show the gratitude for those things because we do make mistakes. And when I was 22, guess how many mistakes I made? Quite a lot. 19, 20, no. Emotional suppression was a huge thing for me. And when I suppressed too long because I didn't think my feelings were worthy of being communicated, I found other ways to communicate them, and they weren't healthy. And sometimes that comes off as manipulating situations to get the outcome that you prefer, because again, it feels like and I actually usually stems from a worthiness wound from internally, and I used to have a huge one, that I'm not worthy if I tell you my actual needs and desires, and I be vulnerable, which places me in a place of the possibility of an emotional attack, which my ego wants to protect me from, right? You ever been there? When it's like, you want to express something, but like you're afraid. And I had an abusive dad growing up, so we never talked about our feelings or emotions. So it became for me, there was a fear to also express things. However, again, your sacred responsibility to convey the message in a way you prefer, and the only way you're going to do that is if you step aside and put yourself in the energy of the solution. Write down what in this is bothering you. Meditate on it. And be prepared on finding out what parts of these things are actually your business and what's not. And how can you let somebody know what your needs are? Because you can only tell people what your needs are. And then after that, it's up to them. So the biggest key to this is letting go of the attachment to the outcome. When you start to convey a message and you prepare it in a way that you're very much so addressing your needs, you have to let go of attachment. And I think this is the quote by the Buddha, is all suffering is rooted to the attachment. To the attachment to the things that you have, or something like that. So letting go of the outcome. Now, it's not detaching, completely detaching from the thing and leaving it alone. It's just putting yourself in a non-attached state. And that way, when you respond, you don't mind whatever the outcome is. You're going to figure it out anyway. You're going to keep surviving anyway. You're going to figure it out. Everything is figure outable. And if somebody's not going to mend with you, and they're not going to join you after you've invited them, hey, these are my needs, can we find a common ground here? Guess what? Maybe they're not meant to be in your life anymore. So gracefully invite and transcend the relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantic type, into maybe going back to being friends. Or maybe, we've reached the crossroads in our paths. Thank you for the journey. Thank you for reaching me to this point where I can vulnerably express my needs, because that's huge. And maybe now that you've let go of something that no longer is serving you, guess what gets to fill that space? Something new to take on your next step. And that next step will always be presented after you complete your current step. So if you find yourself in a cycle of repetitive, overthinking similar things, karmatic things, until you learn the lesson, it's not really going to shift. And guess what, Buttercup? You sweet, beautiful cosmic soul. It's going to be new levels, same frickin' devils. Come on. It's going to be a new level, and you get to evolve with it. And believe me, you don't want to wish for things to be easier. Wish for you to be better. Because the better you get, the better you are at navigating these situations, people, places, and things, what you want and what you don't want, and how to easily, non-attachedly convey a message. Now, also, this is kind of an add-on of the video I did yesterday. So my mom got herself in like a situation with her, like, boyfriend and her boyfriend's dad, and like a family friend of her boyfriend's dad. If you watch my previous video, it'll explain it all. However, my mom, she suppressed a lot of her emotions, and then eventually was triggered and responded in a way she didn't want to respond. She reacted, overreacted. And she's not very good with emotionally explaining things, because my dad used to beat her if she ever, expressed things emotionally. So, and this was the thing I actually, talked to her about yesterday. Like, hey, Mom, do you notice how, like, you don't communicate things in your needs, and you wait until they explode and it affects people? Like, she's like, yeah, well, that's because of your dad in this way. And she pinpointed where it's from. And I'm like, yeah, and don't you think your new boyfriend, who loves you and adores you, and you guys have been already growing together, don't you think he wants to be there with you and continue growing? She's like, yeah, well, okay, well, we got to get over this. So anyway, huge, like, slightly dramatic scene happened. However, my mom called me after it happened, and I said, all right, well, come on over. I'll go ahead and help you navigate all this. And she thought I was just gonna give her a message and stuff. I'm like, no, let's actually pinpoint, like, what are your needs here? What's in your control? What's part of your business and what's not? And, like, what are the things that are actually of concern, right? Because the family friend was doing weird stuff, trying to get, like, remote access on a computer, and to help the elderly father of my mom's boyfriend, like, when he needs help. But it's like they both take care of him, so whenever he needs help, they're there. He's like 100 something years old. So, but it's like, this also family friend, it sounds iffy. I don't know how somebody managed to get on somebody's will just from being their friend, but they're a part of a will. And it seems like she sounds kind of like a con artist in a way. So even I was kind of like, man, this is raising some eyebrows. Just to give you some context, if you don't watch the other story, but there was some concerns, right? And then also that person went over and, like, started rearranging things. She used to live there with my mom's boyfriend's father, but not anymore. So it's, like, kind of weird. You're just going to go there and stay for 2 days because you're in town, and you're going to rearrange things like you live there, and you're going to start controlling what he's eating and stuff. Cause, I get it, he's old and stuff, but, like, you can't tell him what to do and what not to do, yet she's doing it. So anyway, that was the situation. So maybe add a little extra details. However, I let her, express the needs of, like, hey, what part of this bothers you? The rearranging of things, yeah. Getting access to the Wi-Fi and remote access to a computer, because a good hacker can easily access all devices and and pull information from just access to the Wi-Fi. It's a possibility. Highly unlikely this person is a hacker. However, I don't know. Con artists will do things to the extreme. So either way, I had her figure out the message. She sent it, and on Great News Today, she actually said her boyfriend did explain all these things to her dad. Things took a huge dramatic shift, and everything actually worked out. And my mom's like, your message worked. Like, it worked. And I'm like, see, that's the power of expressing with clarity, from the fog of your emotions to the clarity of actually saying these things and being precise and letting go of the outcome. And you're and you're creating a solution, right? And you still are going to survive either way. And here's one thing I've noticed about relationships is a lot of people get into relationships and they tend to be a little bit codependent, because they fear, like, being alone if they break up, or if something happens, or there's, like, an intense thing that's emotional like this, right? So it makes it a little bit difficult to express stuff because of fear of losing this person. Why would you fear losing someone if you're going to be okay anyway, right? Well, maybe because life sucked when you were single. Maybe because you didn't find that peace. Sorry, my computers need the extra lighting. It's maybe life sucked when you were single, right? Maybe it wasn't that pleasant. Maybe you didn't find how to be at peace when you're alone. And believe me, if you can't figure that out, to be independent and happy and feel love with life, unconditional love, the highest vibration you can be in, you can stay in the vibration of love and happiness without the condition to change. If you can't do that alone, you're just picking an attachment from a relationship of somebody else. So it's going to be really difficult to be happy with someone if you can't even do it on your own, because you're placing all your happiness onto them, and then anytime you're putting your power into them, something goes wrong, or you start to fear they're going to leave, your attachment to that, like, oh, they're going to leave, so I have to change. Like, no, I mean, yeah, you have to evolve and communicate things better if that's the case, but like changing and surrendering your needs for someone else and shutting up and suppressing your feelings out of the fear of losing someone, that's not healthy. It's going to put you in an endless cycle of you're not going to ever feel empowered. Empowered, not like empowered, but like, you're empowered and strong, and you feel like you're in a healthy place, because it's always this like Russian roulette thing with your relationship. And I've been there. It sucks. Like, that stuff sucks. Anyway, maybe it's a story for another time. However, please like and subscribe. Let me know how this helped you in the comments. If there's anything else you would like to hear more about, please let me know. I would love to talk about it. And hit that notification button so you're notified when more of my content does come out. Have a beautiful, wonderful, transformative, alchemizing day. Cosmic soul, love and light vibration out. Bye.